It hasn't been a convincing performance by Oliver Ortmann, and should he get through, which it looks like he will do, I'm sure he'll say that he needs to play better should he win the tournament. But every match is a different day. And once again, Oliver not having the best of the break.
You can see it here. The 1 ball and the cue ball look like they're going to set up.
Take a look at this 5.
And well, the 5 ball rolled right up in the way. And now Oliver has to consider a kick or a push. And he's in the lead. He can afford to play conservatively now.
Looks like he's going to leave the right-hand side of the 1 past the 7, somewhere down by the 9. See where he's got his cue there? That's roughly where he wants it. Would probably mean that Robles would be forced to play a side-to-side safety, although he didn't make that bottom cushion, so that makes it a bit more of a safety shot. The shot here, perhaps, that Oliver's tempting Robles with is to put him back in, and Oliver goes off behind the left-hand side of the brown 7, off the bottom cushion to try and leave a safety shot back. Perhaps not. That's just me thinking too strongly ahead in this game. But if he clips this 1, he's going to push it over the corner pocket. Surely he's going to play around the left-hand side of the brown 7 with side spin, no?
I agree. He's got to go to the left of the brown, come back up, and of course he's going to prove us wrong.
Perhaps he can play with draw and miss the in-off.
I don't like that choice. I think he brings the scratch into play.
If he can play enough draw, if he can hit enough of the 1 ball, he can draw past the middle pocket. He may be able to thread the 1 ball back between the 5 and 7. But if he could get enough side spin on and get off that back cushion. Is that the top cushion or the bottom cushion, Jerry? You are completely confused with this head string, foot string lark.
Well, see, we don't use top and bottom. We use head and foot, so I'm not going to...
So is that the foot of the table or the head of the table?
He's shooting from the foot of the table toward the head.
So that's not the top of the table. He's got his cue now. That's the bottom of the table.
That's the foot of the table.
Oh, dear me. Oh, this Atlantic has got us completely confused. Well, that was a good safety shot, although, of course, he did push that 1 ball towards the corner pocket and relied on a safety behind the 4. Has he got it? What's he putting his finger there for?
I don't know. Unless he can see that 1, it doesn't look to us like he can see the 1 ball for a shot.
I want to know what that finger on that part of the cushion is going to do. Is he going to play cushion first, hit the 1,
Well, I think that cushion first is asking an awful lot of the cue ball.
I've got a feeling if we look at this that he could play off the side cushion with spin, hit the 1, and send that cue ball round off 3 cushions and hit exactly where his finger was pointing, but he's collided with the ball, has he?
Oh, and he's cleared the 2, so Ortman's going to come to the table with a clear shot.
Well, it was an effort, that was very close to being... if he could have seen that much of it, he may have been able to pot the ball, though. Could he have potted it down the rail instead of playing the safety?
Well, if he could hit it like that, yes. And Tony needs to remember at this point that when you find yourself in a hole, the first thing you have to do is stop digging.
Well, at some stage you've got to lash out and try to change the course of the match and try and change the flow. And that was a very tricky safety shot to be playing. Open table, Oliver Ortmann 7-3. Must be fancying 8-3 here, and with the break off it could all be over in the space of 5 minutes. And Tony Robles' last shot was a gamble, and it was a safety gamble, not a potting gamble. Efren Reyes versus Dennis Ocolo of the Philippines. 2 great Filipinos up together on our match table next. Okamura under pressure. Dominguez out.
Ortman has missed the 4 ball. Here's another look. He drives the 4 ball into the cushion much too early. But he's certainly gotten a great roll here.
Frustrating day for... It's nice to be frustrated 8-3 in front or 7-3 in front, but as the experience of Oliver will know that he's just giving Tony Robles enough chances to get back in this game and turn it around. This is a tough shot he's playing here. Oh, what a great try.
But on every try, he's leaving Ortman in the jaws here.
He's just committed suicide, but it was a great try. It's all about all he could do was to try that swerve and try and make the 4-ball.
Yeah, but you know, trying that shot, he brought the scratch into play. He brought this situation he wound up with into play.
But at least he tried to pot the ball. I think that was aggressive, and it had to be at some stage. He's got to make some sort of waves in this game. Yeah, Oliver's had a frustrating game, as I say, and he's winning it quite convincingly, and will be even more convincing after this 4-ball clearance. And he doesn't want to get too upset with himself. He's played quite sound tactical play. Missed a couple of pots, we can all miss those. And he gives himself a chance to win the World Championship here at Cardiff. He'll be down to the last 16 should he convert this into a 9-rack winning advantage. It's great to see Oliver back to some sort of standard after taking a bit of a sabbatical for a couple of years from the game.
Well, Tony may have no opportunity to come back to the table. This break has produced an easy opening shot and a layout which Ortman can certainly master.
That cue bending off the break there. Oh, he's rolled another one. Has he got it?
That.
Oh, I don't believe him.
Boy,
He missed it.
oh boy.
Well,
I was about to say, as long as he doesn't do any more left-handed shots, he should be comfortable with that one. Nearly came up and hurt him.
He's got a relatively easy screw back off the side cushion, drawing back across for the 4. 5 has got to be manoeuvred into position unless he can play the 5-8 combination.
Well, I would think he would come down toward the foot end of the table and just take the 5 up on the side into that side or the head corner pocket.
Well, he's got an angle on this 4, and it's debatable whether he can or does want to avoid contact with 8 or 5.
I think he'll drive through the 8, and well, you're right. He will separate these two balls with this collision.
Can't guarantee exactly how this is going to work out.
Well, it worked out fine. Uncomfortable bridge here.
Yes, the 8 won't stop him from potting the 5. What it will do is it will stop him from killing the cue ball dead and making the 6 an easier option. He's got to run through. He'll try and play this as slow as possible to stop this cue ball running too far forward.
And he does have to consider the foul. He cannot touch the 8.
Okay, thanks very much, Oliver. You've just played the worst shot of your life, mate. Well, he played to leave himself straight on the seat. He's just had a laugh at himself there. It's the best way. It's the best thing to do sometimes. He's played. There was an angle on this, so he's thought, because there's an angle, I can run across the table and leave this straighter. And he's talked himself into playing a shot he probably didn't need to play. And now he's looking up and thinking, what on earth have I done there? You soppy fool, what have I done? But
well, unless we see a miracle shot, Tony gets to come back to the table after this. He may come back to the table with ball in hand. There's a lot of distance off the rail to that 6 ball, so the angle of error is just tiny.
Do you know, this game is so strange. You know, he's 4 or 5 balls away of an easy peasy win, considering how much of a problem he's had. And there's another problem arise. He's now got to suffer. Perhaps Tony Robles winning this and then winning the next break off the winning the next rack off the break, and it's 8-5. And well, it looks like very much like it's going to be 8-4. Say Robles wins the next 2 after winning this rack. It's 8-6, and he's still got the break off. Oliver's going, why on earth didn't I just roll that through? What am I doing trying to play advanced positional play when there's easier options?
Like we say, there's really never enough distance between you in racks to be comfortable. The other player can always come up and string racks together.
I do know, Jerry, that when players want to play like a big match to try and guarantee who's the best player. Perhaps if they're playing a money match in the States, they don't play a race to 9 or a race to 17. They play the player to win by 10 clear racks, and it could take all day.
Right. I saw a one pocket match, a race to 8 ahead that took 4.5 days.
Well, yeah, I'd say it's open-ended, yes, but Robles keeps in the game. It is now winner breaks in this tournament, and should Tony Robles be able to control the break and make 5 perfect breaks and runs, he could turn the tables on Oliver Ortman. It's a big ask. He hasn't actually shown that type of form yet today.
Well, he hasn't really ever gotten into it, and he's got to remember that negativity will not pull you through in this game. He's got to get on the positive side. Here's a look at his break. A lot of power going into that rack. Ball's flying everywhere, and it does set up for a first shot for him.
His break's been very controlled. He hasn't had the best of leaves, but this should be a gettable shot. He's got to do something now. He's a last gasp, so there's in some ways nowhere near as much pressure as there was in the early part. I would expect him to make these balls.
I would too, and you're right. What he needs to do now is just wipe the competition out of his mind, pretend he's in his basement practicing and running racks. He's just got to get something going, get some racks strung.
So he has a basement, does he?
Well, I would assume he lives in New York. There are a lot of basements in New York, and that's where you put your pool table.
Bit of work, especially if he's dead straight on this 4. If he's lined up on a dead straight line here, he has a very difficult shot to draw the cue ball back out into position on the 5. He's got to jack up in the air, get backspin on the cue ball, unless he can play cushion first. Cushion first, drop the 4 ball in and come out into the middle of the table. That's about all he can do. Didn't want to be playing this, but should get it.
Cushion first, and he's missed the 4. That should be it.
That's a misjudgment. That if you're going to miss that shot, you've got to miss it thick. You're still going to pot the ball.
Exactly right. You've got to miss it so that it doesn't wind up sitting in the jaws. And well, he's put the gift wrap on the box here for Oliver.
Well, he's lost his ring craft here today, Tony Robles. It's not that he has had that many chances, but the chances he has had and some of the delicate shots he's had to play, he hasn't converted them as best. On another day, things would be different, and we'd be talking about Tony Robles as the true champion he obviously is, coming second in the BCA Open recently, one of the biggest tournaments in the world at 9-ball, and has won many tournaments in the New York and Brooklyn area. But today has not been his day, and so much the start of a match didn't go his way, and he really hasn't got his arm going all day long.
And that's the way it goes sometimes. He had a great day yesterday. He won his match 9-1, so perhaps things went a little bit too easily for him. And they sure didn't go easy today. The way those racks were opening up so tough early in the match. And
well, Oliver Ortman coming up a little bit betwixt and between on this brown 7, but I'm sure that he hasn't got a natural scratch into the opposite corner, and in making this 7 with a bit of left-hand side spin, he should be able to either screw across the table or come round the angles for ideal position on the 8. 3 balls away now for a place in the last 16 for Oliver Ortman.
Well, you saw him tap the table where he wanted the cue ball. He's a bit up table from there, but I just don't see any problem here. Well,
collision with the 9, the only
problem. He could collide with the 9, yeah.
Soft collision, and as long as he doesn't scratch in the opposite corner, would line the balls up quite nicely.
Just as you said, Steve. Oliver Ortman about to put the finishing touches on this masterpiece. And he's defeated Tony Robles 9-4